It's been long known to local ironworkers that the Mercier Bridge, in particular the 82-year-old southbound section over the river, has been deteriorating for years. At a press conference held on Sunday morning, the government of Quebec announced that the entire section will be replaced. While details were scarce, it was made clear that the new $300 million section would be built next to the current span, with the old section remaining in operation until most of the work is completed. As for Kahnawake's involvement in the project, government officials were eager to highlight the history of Mohawk ironworkers on projects across North America and, of course, on the recent rehabilitation of the federal portion of the Mercier, and that the Mohawks would be involved in the new project. But once again, details weren't forthcoming just yet.
Well, it means several things. I mean, this is a good time to establish more of our authority, our jurisdiction over such projects as this, over Mercier Bridge on our territory. I think, to me, that's what it means. There was a failure to acknowledge that by the two governments represented here, in terms of saying, it's a federal provincial project to some extent. There needs to be cooperation between the two governments. Well, what about the third government that basically owns the land and can say yes or no whether or not this project can go through? There was none of that. I mean, they gave us platitudes about our abilities over centuries, Quebec City, the loss of our people, and so on and so forth, working in New York City, major projects and all of that. But, there was very little acknowledgement about our responsibility, our duty, and all of this. So, that'll get straightened out once the details are put on the table.
Well, I'm very pleased today because we're taking a big step forward. There's been a long debate over what the long-range solution for the bridge should be. There were three options. We could continue to repair it. For the last few years, we've been spending at least $10 to $20 million every year trying to repair the bridge. There was one proposal that we replace both the older part of the southbound part of the bridge and the northbound and do one bridge to replace the two. But people said that the 1963 section, which is the northbound or the inbound part of the Mercier Bridge, is still very solid, so it doesn't need to be replaced. So today we will now make the decision. We're going to replace the current Mercier Bridge, the old part, the southbound part, and I think that's a big step ahead.
It's a huge project. Well, it could take years because we don't know yet what will be the final, I'd say the final decision concerning the work itself. But today is a very important day because we have made a decision to replace the section, the oldest section of the bridge, under the provincial jurisdiction, so between the federal structure and the shore, going southbound. So it is very important for us because that's the decision based on the expertise that the Ministère des Transports gave us, and therefore we are going through with le dossier d'affaires, which would be the final decision. And before that, since we're working in the riverbed of the St. Lawrence River, we have to have the consideration of the BAP. But this being taken into consideration, we're going forward to build a new bridge as far as the provincial section is concerned.
The early maintenance project started several years ago, and Quebec actually wanted to ensure that our men and women of the community were qualified and that they met all of the standards that Quebec has. And so we've been adamant that we have experience and we have qualifications that equal to or better than what Quebec has. So we're very happy that our community members have been able to work on the projects over the last several years.
We know that the bridge is part of the history of the Kahnawake and particularly to the knowledge of the steel worker, the sky workers of Kahnawake who build the Empire State Buildings and so many other bridges, and the bridge, the Quebec Bridge in our capital, and many of them have lost their lives during that construction. So we know very well how important those workers are, and it's obvious. I thank them for those who work on the bridge in 1934, and I'm looking forward to see them work on the new construction as well.
They changed the law to actually recognize that we have our own qualifications program here in the community, and that we worked alongside CCQ for those couple of years to to be able to ensure that we do have qualified community members. We looked at the different qualifications, the different safety courses that they've had, and especially their experience. And for the people out there, it was great that they were able to mention that we're renowned skywalkers. So I'm very happy that they were recognized for that.
Well, as I say, we have a legal and moral obligation that goes back to 1934 to give priority to qualified Mohawk workers, but I think we have a chance here to come up with something which will be an economic development possibility for Kahnawake to participate as partners in replacing the bridge. So I think it's something that can be win-win for everyone. I said in my comments, there's something symbolic about building bridges, not just physically in concrete and steel, but building bridges between communities, building bridges between cultures. So I think today it's a very exciting bit of news.